The start from scratch, learn as you go, kind of feels scrappy, kind of feels small. But what you're talking about here is or strategies that were employed at one of the biggest companies in the world, right? Amazon and PO experience and several rounds of exits there. You have a certain philosophy around building and scaling marketing teams. And that's, I think, a great place to start out here.
I think one of the things that we can chat through is maybe just even start with some of the challenges when you start thinking about how to scale and build marketing teams from the ground up. And the way that I think about those and just talk a little bit about that is one categorize them as functional challenges, which I think you can imagine like how you build the marketing strategy from the ground up. What are the channels you use? Who's your ICP? What's the type of messaging? How do you talk about your value as a company? Things you kind of know. Some of the challenges there is also like you don't have historical data. So, for instance, when I was at Amazon and we're getting into B2B retail, Amazon obviously world class, knows how to do consumer retail, not really understand the B2B buyer. How does a B2B buyer differ? They don't necessarily go to the kitchen aisle or the home aisle to buy things. Like they're stocking their office break room. That's a completely different mind shift. And so, really having to peel that back and understand that without having necessarily historical data to lean on, even a company like Amazon. It's like, how do you get creative with what you do know? How do you go and find the data that you need? The other, I would say, of different challenges might be organizational challenges, like stepping in, even if you are one of the first marketing hires, or maybe there was a marketing team, but they're rebuilding from the ground up. Make no mistake, someone in the org has probably been doing something marketing esque. And you really have to peel that layer back and figure out what are the misconceptions or preconceptions people have coming in of what marketing is expected to do. Maybe some of the things that are not within marketing's realm, but you really have to challenge the status quo. I've got some experience there I can talk through. And for instance, at Chow Now, they weren't doing any customer marketing. They had a huge customer success team, but marketing was very reactive to that. It was, hey, we need to send out an email. How do you actually start to talk to them and say, you know what, marketing can actually have a hand in what does onboarding look like? What does customer marketing look like? I always see it as that 360 view of we see things that are happening on Google and Facebook before they even start buying, but what's also in the product? What are you and what is actually coming out from the company? So how do you bring all of that together and bring all those parties into the room? And then I guess the other organizational challenges say is obviously cross-functional relationships. They're non-existent. So there's baggage there that you have to really unpack. I think as you're getting into a role of like how do you build from the ground up, those are the things that are top of mind that you're really gonna have to learn how to navigate.